Libraries of Leaders is a Bloomberg Quint weekly list of what leaders are reading.
Hello and welcome to Libraries of Leaders with me, Varun. On this week's very special edition, we have the man who's been called the John Grisham of banking by none other than the Wall Street Journal. Ravi Subramanian, welcome to the show.
Hi Varun, pleasure to be on your show.
So first of all, you've been called the John Grisham of banking. Why John Grisham and how?
Well, I guess it's probably because Grisham wrote a lot about legal thrillers, and he made a career writing legal thrillers, and I made a career writing banking thrillers. And there was nobody who wrote legal thrillers better than Grisham, and possibly in India there's nobody else who writes banking thrillers, and that's the reason why I guess the name came and it kind of got stuck.
So your new book, In the Name of God, however, isn't about banking at all, is it?
It's absolutely nothing to do with banking. It's a story set in the mysterious Padmanabha Swami temple in Trivandrum. It's got linkages to various parts of the story in Bombay, in Middle East, in Australia, etc. But by and large, it's set in the backdrop of the Padmanabha Swami temple, wherein due to a strange quirk of fate, auditors will end up at the temple, which is the richest temple in the world, possibly richer than even the Vatican, with a $20 billion wealth. The auditors start dying one after the other, and then there is this investigator called Kabir Khan, who is a CBI additional director, who goes in and investigates the murders, and then one thing leads to the other. There's one reveal after the other, and it's just like a pack of dominoes, you know. One falls, the next falls, the next falls, and the entire book is about one reveal after the other, and then they get to the killer at the end. So it's a very interesting story. Nobody's done a story based in Padmanabha Swami temple yet, and I guess the question I ask at the end of it is does God kill, or is it man who kills in the name of God?
Banking and thrillers, isn't that a bit of an oxymoron?
Not at all. Varun, what do you need to write a thriller? Okay, you need to have people, relationships, money, crime, sleaze, murders, investigations, fraud. What don't you have in a bank? Each and every element that you need to create a fabulous thriller is pretty much there in a bank. So for me, after having spent 2 decades in the banking industry, writing banking thrillers was very easy.
Ravi, how do you balance being an author with being executive director at Sriram City Union Finance Limited?
Well, Varun, I think it's all about prioritizing your work, and if you like doing something, if something is your passion, you'll always find out time to do that. As far as I'm concerned, writing is my passion. It takes me away from work. It kind of helps me de-stress, and I love doing it. So for me, I'm willing to give up a lot of things to write. So when I get back home in the evening, I don't watch TV, I don't socialize too much, I don't party too much, I sleep late, so I give up on hours of sleep, and I use that time to write. I come in early and I leave for home early so that I miss the daily traffic. So that saves me half an hour, 45 minutes a day. So if you add all these, it pretty much gives you enough time to do what you want. You need every man has to realize that if he wants to follow some passion, he needs a 25th hour. But that 25th hour has to be found within the 24 hours of the day, which is what I did.
Are there some processes that you follow while you write?
While I write? A couple of strange quirks, okay, and one of them is whenever I start a new book, I need a new laptop. Okay, so the previous book I wrote on an iPad Pro, and this one I'm writing on a MacBook Air. So I keep changing my laptops. To me, some may call it stupid, some may call it weird, but that's the way it is. I need a new laptop to write. It's a superstition. It's kind of stuck with me. I don't want to change it. 2 is when I start writing, I don't have anything except the backdrop in front of me. So I know that for example, in the Name of God is a story set in the Padmanabha Swami temple. All I know is that this story is going to be set in the Padmanabha Swami temple, period. Now, then I start writing. I do not plot my story. I do not use an Excel worksheet and say chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 80, end of story, reveal, epilogue. None of that happens with me. I write the first chapter leads to the second, to the third, to the fourth. Sometimes it takes a lot of time for me to write because I kind of keep going back and correcting a few things to suit the flow of the story. But I'm one of those few writers who does not plot.
Ravi, if you had to take 3 books with you to solitary confinement, which ones would they be and why?
Very difficult because there are phases in life where different kind of books kind of mean different things to you. But if I were to look at 3 books to take with me to solitary confinement, clearly the first one would be Swami and his friends, Arcana. And the reason is that book set me off on the path of reading, and it's a beautifully written book, simple language, set in the British era, a 10-year-old story, and it taught you very, very small lessons which stay with you for life. For example, things which mean a lot to Swami don't mean much to the adults in the story. Okay, they dismiss him a lot, saying, okay, this is rubbish, this is not important, etc. But from Swami's eyes, when you look at it, those are very, very important things for him in his life. Now it kind of teaches you a lesson that, look, you need to respect every single individual, take every single person's point of view, and then go ahead in life. And that perspective has helped me a lot in my writing as well. So when somebody gives me a feedback, I take it very seriously. I may not act and change myself basis the feedback, but if I see a trend in the feedback, I do take it very important seriously. And I think that's a trait which kind of has been picked up from the life of Swami and his friends. The second book would probably be a toss-up between Cain and Abel and Not a Penny More, Not a Penny Less. But I guess Cain and Abel would win the battle. The typical battle between the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots, 2 super powerful characters, beautiful storytelling, lucid writing. I think it's a piece of art, and clearly Cain and Abel would be Jeffrey Archer's best, and he's one of my favorite authors as well. The third book would be a book which kind of set me on the path for writing crime thrillers, or at least kind of started getting me think in that direction, was a book called The Perfect Murder by Shakuntala Devi. Not many people know that this human computer mathematical genius Shakuntala Devi also has written a lot of stories, and The Perfect Murder is one such story where a lawyer who can become a judge at some point in time plans a murder of his wife, and you know almost half the story in the beginning of the book. You know who committed the murder, you know how he committed it, you know who he killed. Despite that, and that kind of often takes away the thrill from a crime thriller, but despite that, the story kind of goes along beautifully and kind of keeps you on the edge almost every chapter.
Have you decided that you're going to restrict yourself to thrillers, or can we see something in other genres coming out very shortly?
I like writing thrillers, and it's fun. To me, when I read a book, I like the pace in it. I like to pick up a book and finish it in 2 days, or even less than 2 days if possible. To me, a book which takes you 20 days to read is no fun at all.
Not a Tolstoy fan.
Okay, no, I just can't read a book over 20 days. If a book requires that kind of an effort, I would probably put it down. Also, because memory, 20 days, you have to remember the characters, keep going back to them. It's too much. To me, pick up a book, flip through it, read it, finish it, dump it. That's the way I read most of the thrillers that I read, and they give me an adrenaline rush which normal books don't give. But having said that, I think an author who kind of boxes himself in a particular genre just doesn't do justice to his craft. And I think writers must experiment, writers must step out of the comfort zone, try and write things which they want to write, and not things which they are comfortable in.
Ravi, rapid fire now. Favorite book by an Indian author?
Swami and his friends, Arcana.
Favorite book by a contemporary Indian author?
Chanakya's Chant by Ashwin Sanghi.
Your favorite classic?
I don't read classics.
Ravi Subramanian, thank you very much for speaking with Bloomberg Quint. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.